I'm a
The
woman.
music.
I'm a woman.
I want to get a shot of that.
Ugh.
Oh, that looks awful.
She looks like the squid. You know that Squidward meme where he's like super handsomized?
yeah.
She kind of looks like that.
Handsome
Yeah,
Squidward.
I can see it.
Oh my god.
Handsome Squidward.
Hold
That's
on.
some Squidward
hold on.
man.
Squidward.
Oh my god, it actually does look exactly the same.
I think it's how big and smooth the head is, along with the
Yeah, I
face.
think so. The head cells.
Not another step, Batwoman. I'll be bringing him in.
All you had to do was, like, maybe talk to her in a civil manner? Why does this all of a sudden result in fisticuffs?
Kate Kane. I'd recognize that hammer strike anywhere.
Julia Pennyworth. Figure it, Alfred would have taught you better manners.
And where the hell is your father to rescue us from this crap?
Why did you do this, Batwoman? You were this close to delivering your least bad episode! The identity politics were downplayed, nobody was acting like an idiot, everything was going kind of okay for a change, and I was almost rooting for you to pull this off. But then you reverted to form and everything fell apart like it always does.
To them.
Oh my god, I was such a bitch to you earlier. Why didn't you say you were super gay?
Why didn't you say you were super gay? I love how that's more miraculous than her being fucking Batwoman. Why didn't you say you were super gay? I hate this show. I hate it with a blind rage.
He just said he's willing to kill the whole world. She's like, you'll have to kill me.
Okay.
Oh.
What?
Wow. All right.
What an epic fight scene.
You bringing Kevin Conroy to do this?
Yeah, like this really bugs me actually.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay then.
You have him announce that he's happy for the whole world to die, and then he gets fucking frizzled to death.
All right.
Fucking hell.
God.
How could people be happy with
I'm
that?
not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work.
Batman, where are you going? Wait! You're leaving us to die!
That guy's got his gate
Are
on.
you the gays? We do not accept the gays in Italy.
Unfortunately, sneakers are not allowed to be in the dining area.
Sneakers.
I'm surprised that you could see them considering they're hiding underneath our table.
Oh.
Just go to-
He's an anti-gay. He's an anti-gay.
That guy right there is wearing sneakers.
Maybe you would enjoy instead our lounge outside.
Oh god.
Wow.
I want to die.
Let's avoid the scene.
Batwoman is not a good show. We are halfway through the first season at this point, and it is still struggling to find itself an identity other than through the blatant, idiotic political agenda that it pushes. From what I've been seeing of the show, from reactions and plot synopsises that are available on YouTube and otherwise, Batwoman of the CW creation may be the worst hero ever put on screen. And it's ridiculous because people love the Kate Kane from the comics. What did the CW have to gain by ruining one of the most widely renowned LGBT characters in all of Western media? Oh wait, they didn't adopt the right one. They adopted the New 52 version of Kate Kane. Now, I don't read comic books very much, but according to the fans of the non-52, Kate Kane was not a selfish asshole. She got into crime fighting out of a sense of duty and honor for her family, because they had died. It was for her dead mother and sister. And she was not consumed at all by her identity. She was not consumed by a need to shove her identity down her throat. She didn't need to tell everyone, oh, she's an out and proud lesbian, like they have portrayed her in not only the New 52, but in this Batwoman show as well. Now, seeing what Kate does in this and in the New 52, she is obsessed with her identity and her personal wants and needs. Not only that, she is so die-hard about her mindsets that not only does she put people at risk continuously, she makes decisions that only benefit her. She doesn't even take up the Batmantle out of a sense of duty and honor, or to do anything with her sister or mother. She only does it to find her ex-girlfriend who was captured in a really convoluted plot in the pilot episode. She only takes the Batmantle out of her selfish desires, and only after she finds Sophie in the pilot episode, she then finds out that her sister is actually the one who captured her and is actively trying to bring her in, or at least trying to save her, quote unquote, even though she clearly does not need saving and is too far gone. But Kate keeps on letting her go and letting her continuing to commit crimes even when she's supposed to be stopping her. She is continuing to let her go continuously. And not only that, with other criminals too, like in the 10th episode, where Kate Kane lets a girl go who hijacked a municipal train to kill 20 or 30 people, with her still on it, by the way. She was going to crash it. An uncontrolled train. Kate was going to bring her in, but then the little girl was like, no, but I'm gay and I don't want to listen to anybody. I'm gay and this is why I'm being a bad person. This is why I'm being such an asshole. This is why I nearly killed 20 to 30 people on a train by hijacking it. And not only that, threatening the city for blackmail money and doxing the mayor's credit card account. So why is Kate Kane doing all of this? Oh, because she cares about her identity. She cares about her personal wants and needs, not the needs of Gotham City. She didn't take up the Batmantle out of a need to protect Gotham. And considering that Batman has been gone for a good little while, you would think that, maybe they would do something interesting with how she would help Gotham. But she doesn't even do it to protect Gotham. She doesn't give a shit about Gotham. She never did. She only takes the Batmantle for her own selfish desires, and all of her actions this far in the show have been grossly negligent at best, and gross incompetence at its worst. And the story takes the Korra route with her and her needs, desires, and actions. Pretend she's not doing anything wrong, even though you have people telling her that she is wrong in good positions of power and are respected characters. But don't ever show that she's wrong. Always take it from her perspective that she's doing everything the right way, and whenever someone calls her out on it, have her act like an absolute cunt, so that way she can get up on her high horse and talk down to everyone. This is part of the reason why Batwoman is so hated at this point in its production cycle, and we're barely halfway through the season. One season that has been renewed for a second, despite the fact that the ratings have been dropping so heavily. So the whole point of this intro is, I'm getting into the show because of what they did in the 10th episode, and what they did in the 10th episode was such a massive slap in the face to this show's target demographic that I am so shocked that the LGBT community did not go, as a collective, what the fuck was this? You were portraying us as people who are wanting to kill others because we're gay? Because we were in positions of trouble because of our identity, because our parents didn't like the fact that we were gay, or that we had personal grudges against people because of my ex-girlfriend or whatever, and justifying everything she's doing, up to and including murder, and doxing people, and threatening blackmail, just because she's gay. That's the only reason she's doing all this, just because she's gay, and therefore she should be given a free pass. Once again, completely different from the Kolyat situation that I've talked about before. So why is... It's disgusting to me that Batwoman is taking such a huge advantage of its target audience to try to pander to them, but then they portray them in the stereotypical Twitter way, where they're like, if you don't pander to us, we will harm you, or we will dox you. They portray LGBT people in the worst possible light. And this is on top of the many things that Kate has done in the season that has been very close to harming lots of people and has led to people being harmed. Like letting Alice go consistently all the fucking time. Not even bothering to try to help the citizens of Gotham. Like multiple people have died because she let Alice go consistently. And yet, she still roams free. She still roams free in the fucking city. though I'm pretty sure that she's going to get out of custody, since thankfully in episode 10 they did capture her, but it wasn't by Kate's hand. No, she just cared about the gay girl. She didn't care about actually stopping Alice. No, she just hasn't done much. She hasn't done much at all to really help go through anything, to actually help get rid of Gotham's elite criminal class or anything like that. Yeah, she did the thing with the executioner, but that was more of the executioner just getting rid of people he perceived to be going after black people for no reason, and that whole plot was completely convoluted because there were actual people who did commit crimes that were black, like the guy who killed Lucius Fox. He was in prison, convicted by the guy who died first with the electric fence thing, and you know, no one's going to bring that up, that he was actually the one who did it. And Lucius's son Luke was like, yes, this is the guy who did it. So, you know, kind of weird there. But I'm getting into this show now. I'm not going to rely on the reaction reviews from EFAP, JLongbone, or Thorias Unlimited to just be my sole perspective on the show. I had to experience it front to back, because what it is doing with its politics and what it is trying to make Kate Kane become is so disgusting. It is baffling to me that anyone can find any sympathy with this character. And I want to do what I can to help dissuade people from ever watching this shit show of a series, because it is goddamn terrible. There is no way, no freaking way, that in an objective standard Batwoman would be celebrated. No one gives a shit about her. No one should be giving a shit about her enough to try to ship her with a random cop, which pisses her off to the point that she has to come out as an openly gay superhero, even though the whole point of Batman is that you are stealthy, you are the Knight. You are not supposed to let stuff about your identity come out into the open. Otherwise people will figure out who you are, or people will be hurt because of the fact they know part of your identity. Batwoman is selfish. She is not a good character. She is not a good hero, at least with the New 52 and the CW iteration of Batwoman that they continue to double down on, despite the fact that people are going away in droves. And if you still defend this show, you're a goddamn idiot. You're an asshole. And I really hope that you start waking up to the bullshit that is happening with Batwoman, because you are being actively misled. If you still watch this, you're being driven down a dark path, and I hope you get away from it. But if you're going to criticize people for criticizing it in the most inane bullshit way imaginable, God have mercy on your soul. But now let's get into my thoughts about the pilot. And oh boy, there's a lot to go on here. Now, the whole premise for the show is that this has been a few years after Batman has utterly left Gotham, and now Gotham, in a time without Batman, decides to turn to this Crow security force to help the police force, or do something around that area, to help keep Gotham crime from spiraling out of control. Now, there is also another show that deals with the disappearance of Batman, and it's also a wildly popular show from the late 90s. You would know this as Batman fucking Beyond. And I watched the pilot recently of Batman Beyond, and quite honestly, it handles this whole thing with Batman a hell of a lot better. For one, this doesn't open without the perspective of Batman. Batman Beyond opens with Batman in his late 50s, still fighting crime, but in a highly mechanized suit, or at least a futuristic suit that helps him in his older age. While he's fighting, he ends up getting a heart attack trying to save this girl who's been kidnapped for ransom. And as he cannot physically fight, he grabs a nearby gun and points it at criminals to try to scare them away so he could save the girl. And he's so horrified by what he did and that what could have happened if he had actually shot them, that he decided that enough was enough. He couldn't be the Batman any longer. Not only did he violate his principles, it's very clear that he can't be the Batman anymore, and that it was time to hang up the cowl And he said never again as he shut down the Batcave for the last time, or what seemed to be the last time. And then it transitions to 20 years later. Bruce is in his 70s. His company has been halfway bought out by another guy named Powers, who runs Wayne Powers. And the whole premise of this story is that this is a futuristic Gotham that's almost twice as corrupt as it was when Bruce was still in his prime as Batman. But Bruce still did. He he stopped all the supervillains. He stopped the Joker. He stopped Mr. Freeze. He stopped everyone. But without Batman, the Gotham seedy underbelly still finds a way to mess things up. Now, Bruce still is not happy with the state of the world. It's very evidenced by him being a recluse. He does not like the state of the world, but he still can't do anything about it. But then, a character drops into his lap by the name of Terry. Terry saves him from a couple of hooligans who were chasing him, and managed to run into Bruce. Bruce, in his old age, fought off well, but he still had heart problems because, like I said, he had that heart attack in the opening when he was still Batman. And he helps him get his medicine. Terry figures out that he is Batman, but then Bruce knocks him out and then kicks him out of his house for not trespassing, but for going into a place he shouldn't have been. So, what then happens to Terry is, because there's some corporate stuff going around, his dad, since his dad works at Wayne Powers, his dad ends up getting killed by the guy who bought out Bruce's company. And Bruce, once again, does not want to be Batman, isn't going to let anyone be Batman. He says, look, if you have the evidence, bring it to Barbara Gordon, who's the police commissioner. But Terry doesn't want to go to the police because he doesn't think the police will be able to do anything. And so, doing what Bruce would do, he takes the bat suit and he goes to track them down. And Bruce is initially very mad about what Terry does, and he tries to get them to take the suit off, and even lets him get beat up a couple times to prove his point. But then, after realizing that, they do share a similar tragedy of the loss of a parent, Bruce not only lets him track down the guy who killed his dad, he lets him keep the suit, and they work together to become Batman. Now, the whole setup with Batwoman is, like I said, completely stupid. Why would you not have any type of perspective with Batman at all? Why would you not just go, oh wait, I don't know, have Batman do stuff at the beginning that's not shot in 5 frames per second. You actually see him, you see Bruce Wayne, you see stuff that goes down. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be gone for a little while. It may be a long time since. And then, because of Kate's hatred of Batman, for supposedly killing her family, have something happen to where, like, she notices that Bruce Wayne and Batman disappear. And then she starts thinking about, oh, this is a little too coincidental for me. And so she's actively looking into what's going on with Bruce. And then you have this build up towards the season, towards the fact that you get the reveal that, oh, Bruce Wayne is Batman. But you also have something happen to where Bruce is still in contact with Luke. And then Luke ends up contacting Bruce about Kate and that she's found the Batcave. And then Bruce ends up coming back to Gotham. But you also show that Bruce is not who he was when he was younger. He has taken a massive toll on his... being Batman has taken a massive toll on his body. And or just something happened to where he refuses to put on the suit again. But he decides to help Kate out instead. To... make sure that the people of Gotham are still safe. But that's not what they do. They don't use Bruce Wayne at all. Now, I know the whole thing with the Arrowverse was that the Arrowverse was created because the CW wanted to make a Batman show. They said no, especially because Fox had already had Gotham on display. So they decided, look, we'll just make a show with Arrow. But Gotham's over. they don't have that crutch anymore. You could have easily made a Batman TV show, or at least made something around the mythos of Batman, but instead they not only focus on Batwoman, they focus on the highly unpopular Batwoman and set it up in a very contrived way. Now, I'm not saying you can't make a good, faithful adaptation of Batwoman. Alright? Just don't make it the new 52 version, but that's what they did. And so what they do is they set it up basically to where they're disrespecting Bruce Wayne and the Batman while propping up Kate. And that's the whole problem with the setup of the pilot. Bruce is gone. Kate hates Batman. We're seeing things through her perspective that is very flawed and contrived. And the state of Gotham is probably the worst that it's ever been. Or at least it feels like there's a boiling point that's about to come about, even with the Crows. And it does reach a boiling point with Alice deciding, hey, I'm gonna start fucking shit up. But seriously, you tell me there's no one else though? Bruce didn't tell anybody else where he was going? Not even Luke, he didn't tell anybody where he was going. You mean, and not only that, there's no Nightwing, there's no Robin, there's no Batgirl or Oracle. You don't have James Gordon, the Commissioner. What has been going on since Batman disappeared? We don't get any definitive answers. All we get is that, oh, Kate lost her sister and mom in a car accident. Batman tried to save them, but for some reason left, which I think can be attributed to just really shitty memory. And not only that, after Batman leaves a few years later, you know, everything's going down and not much is happening. But things are starting to get so bad that all it needs is just one person to just light a match and start letting all this rampant crime just expose into the ethos. You can make a good setup here, but the whole setup is contrived. It's anti-Batman. I'm telling you, he would have told somebody. He trusted quite a few people. He trusted the Commissioner. He trusted James. He trusted Barbara. He trusted Tim Drake, whoever happened to be Robin at the time. He trusted Nightwing. There's quite a few people he would have trusted. Batman would have left a safety net if he had to disappear for a while. Or, guess what? How about this? You do something to where actually, like, Bruce has been captured by a criminal and he's being held in some faraway country. Or you can make it to where Bruce might be dead. Or you can do the Dark Knight Returns thing. Or you can do a Batman Beyond type of thing. In fact, you could have done it like Batman Beyond, because with Batman Beyond, you can actually do some things with Batman Beyond's technology that make what Kate does in the show actually make sense. Because with Terry, it doesn't take long for him to really get used to the suit. But that's because the suit is so sophisticated and technological that he can do what he needs to do pretty quickly. Like, he's able to quickly master but he's quickly able to handle how to fly in that suit. He can really handle fighting, considering not only he's really strong, but the suit amplifies the user's strength twofold. And he also knows how to really use the batarangs, which this Kane not only doesn't do any of that, or at least we're not shown it. She does it without a good suit. At least not the suit that Bruce and Terry had to use. Though that suit was specifically made to make you better. This suit that Kane is using is not. It is just the normal Batman suit that we're accustomed to. You know, the body armor and the cowl. Not any of the new futuristic gadgetry that you would get in Batman Beyond. But this whole thing is being made to prop up Kate Kane, and this is one of the reasons why she really is a Mary Sue, because she is just like Ray, she is an audience typecast for the show. She is the self-insert character for the audience. And it's not a good representation, because I know what they're trying to do with her as a character, especially after episode 10. Is they're trying to prop her up to be this big representation hero who beats down everyone for having just a slightly different opinion or just being an asshole. It's just not a good look. And like I said, everything that Kate Kane does in the show is antithetical to what Batman is about. And we'll find out as we go through the series. So, before we get into the actual plot of the pilot, I just found out something interesting. So, one of the people who are producers of the show is a guy named David Nutter, who some of you may know as the guy who helped prop up and then destroy Game of Thrones. But his name's really funny because his name's David Nutter. He's got to David up that nut. And then I also looked on the Wikipedia page for the episode listings. Another guy who's actually a writer for it, this guy named Ebony Gilbert. Ebony Gilbert. That's such a bad name. Why would you name your child Ebony Gilbert? Oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. I feel bad for everyone who has to work on Batwoman that isn't the main writer. Oh no. Because at least David Nutter, he had some claim to fame with Game of Thrones. But this is horrible. It's bad. I feel bad for this Ebony Gilbert. This might be the only thing he's known for. And then people just look at his name. It's like, we ain't hiring your ass. Fuck off. It's like, oh man. Oh, but anyway, let's get more serious here. So, the pilot, directed by Marcos Siga and written by Carolyn Dries, who is the person who is developing the show. She is the de facto showrunner. It's not Greg Berlanti, but Greg Berlanti's producing it. He's the main financer, so he's basically got a creative role in it. But okay, so we start off, Kate Kane's wallowing around in the water, freezing her ass to death, and I'm guessing the Arctic or Antarctic, with this Indian dude. Dives underwater to get a key, goes up, but looks up and she finds that the hole's being covered by him. She tries to pull the thing off, it won't go off, and because you're in freaking freezing water and nothing but your skivvies, guess what happens? Hypothermia tends to set in, which would incapacitate most or not all people. Like they even do this in Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows Part 1 in that movie, where they show Harry in the freezing ass water and he's about to die, but he gets saved by Ron. No one comes to save Kate. Kate saves herself. She pulls herself out of that freezing cold ass water and is completely fine, like she's just been in a pool for a little bit too long. Like a warm pool that you would see at a Holiday Inn. And the CGI, oh man, I watched this episode on my phone. The CGI is so poorly done. And also, the way it's done on the phone, it's on like 480p. So the special effects look even worse than they would have done in HD. So that's freaking great. Good job, CW. You can't freaking get 1080p on your goddamn phone, even though I'm using a Google Pixel. But in between all of that, Kate has flashbacks to when her mom and Kate's mom and Kate's sister had died, or died quote unquote for one of them, spoiler alert, with Beth. Batman comes to save them after they get caught in a car crash, or at least he tries to. Kate sees him run away just before the car gives way and falls into the river with Kate's sister and mom. Kate managed to get out just beforehand, and she resents Batman for this because, oh man, not like you totally could have misremembered this. Like and it's all done in 5 FPS, so it's like very weirdly done. Like it's just, I know what they're trying to go with. It's just like when you're younger, your memories don't come to you as better as they do with recent events. But even then, there's stuff I can't even remember 2 days ago from. There's stuff I can't remember from freaking 5 years ago. But there's stuff I can remember from when I'm really fucking young. So, what I don't get is how this is something that like, this is something that Kate could have easily just misremembered. That Batman could have been doing something more. But then again, considering this is a show that's all about propping up Kate Kane and doing everything you can to strip down the Batman mythos, you gotta beat the Batman down. So he runs away just before the thing falls down and doesn't come back to help. Like, all he did was shoot 2 grapnels into opposite walls to keep the car stable, but then one of them snapped off and they died. So she hates Batman for it. That's the whole point of that cutscene. She hates Batman. And then it goes to Gotham. Gotham's getting ready for this big event because after Batman left, the Crows are the main security force in Gotham. It's not the Gotham PD. It's not being run by, someone like Barbara Gordon or James Gordon. Like, nobody like that. You don't even really know who the actual commissioner is. You barely see him. Though it says here on the Wikipedia page, the mayor's name is Michael Atkins, and he's like, look, we gotta shut down the bat signal. It's being organized. The event's being organized by Kate's dad's wife, Catherine, who was like, Batman's not coming back. He left us all to die, or not left us all to die, but he left us to suffer in this bitch-made city. And they're trying to push this anti-Batman rhetoric, even though there's a bunch of people outside saying, keep the fucking bat signal on. Because guess what? Even if Batman kind of fucked up a couple of times, he still kind of saved your asses from, like, the biggest fucking supervillains. He saved you from the Joker, saved you from the Penguin, saved you from the Riddler, saved you from Bane, saved you from a whole host of fucking problems. And this is how you respect his memory after he left? And considering this is that what they show us in the later part of the season, that if everything were the same, or at least if Bruce was still there, he would be like a 50-year-old. Which means the dude's done enough. In Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne is 50 when he starts having those heart attack problems that permanently sideline him. Is Batman not done enough? How much more does he have to suffer to try to please you bitches for... Like, why? All he did, the main reason that he became Batman was to help the citizens of Gotham, so that way they would never have to suffer what he had suffered. It's not that he didn't always succeed. He succeeded a lot. There were still times where he failed, but he still persevered. You think when he's in his 50s and he can barely start to move because age is starting to take his toll on him, that maybe he should be allowed to retire? Right, that whole event is so stupid because it's shaming Batman for, no matter the reason that he had left. I think Batman would probably call it quits one day. He definitely would. And one of the things that would be in character with him disappearing is that he didn't want anybody else to follow in his footsteps, which is why he had the Batcave and everything in Wayne Tower being guarded so closely, even though in the show they portray it pretty incompetently. But yeah, so they're like, yeah, let's take down the bat symbol. Then Alice comes in, kills a couple of guards on the roof, and then starts giving out this platitude speech with some Alice in Wonderland speech because, her name's Alice, so obviously you gotta reference one of the greatest stories of all time. And is like, woohoo, I'm a kooky little supervillain who's gonna kill you all if you don't do what I say, blah, 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 blah. And is making all these threats to Kate's dad, who is Mr. Commander Crow, Jacob Kane, who in the later part of this season, or at least towards the midway point, becomes a true OG nigga. That man is a G. Becomes a pimp, as JLongbone puts it. But yeah, at this, he's just watching. He's just watching her. He's like, okay. And then after she starts speaking, it's like, okay, how about we move things along? How about we come kick this person's ass? But in the middle of all the chaos, as shit starts going down, Sophie, who turns out to be Kate's love interest of the series, used to have a flame with her, but had a falling out due to an event at their military training facility. she gets captured by the Alice's gang, the Wonderland gang. And it's pretty funny because they actually make her act like you would think a cop would. Because the moment she gets grabbed by a couple of guys, she starts shooting at him. And it's like, oh, so a cop in a TV show acting like a cop should in a TV show. Because when you see cops like get grabbed like that, they're always like wrestling around and stuff. But like, no, she just immediately just grabs her gun and starts blasting motherfuckers left and right like she's Danny DeVito from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like, anyway, I just started blasting. And it's great, but then she gets kidnapped, and it was all planned. Yes, they planned for 2 of their guys to get shot so they could capture this bitch. So, time passes. The Crows are trying to not help, but they're trying to help her, but they're trying to free the captured Crows, because they captured several Crows, including Sophie. But Sophie was the main target, and this was an attempt to try to draw Kate out of hiding. Why Kate is in this remote location at the Arctic or Antarctic, wherever the fuck it's supposed to be, I have no goddamn idea. Because leaving the military means you should be living in exile, even though that doesn't make any sense. You know, you still have a family, you still have shit to do. I don't know why she decided to go up there to this random Indian dude's house and start fucking around with him. Like, he's literally only in this episode so far in the show. But anyway, Kate gets a call from her stepsister who's like, look, Kate, your ex-girlfriend's missing. And then she has flashbacks about the time she got kicked out of this training camp because she refused to sign a waiver saying that she and Sophie didn't engage in any homosexual interactions, which is so stupid because if you're trying not to get in trouble and you're trying to make sure you have this advanced training, and this is a week before their graduation too, and this is one of the big things that goes into her selfish attitude that really rubs me the wrong way. You set yourself up for life. You would set yourself up for life. But no, you want to take a principled stand. It's not a principled stand because this is contrived. Show don't tell, ask don't tell is not been a thing since after George Bush left office. That was like one of the big things that was taken out in 2009 when Obama came to president, which is one of the actually good things that he did. Though you ain't gonna see me praising his ass for like 50,000 things under the sun. You bet your ass that. But it hasn't been a thing for a while. So in the timelines and events that are given, even since they're portraying this show as a modern day TV series, no, I'm not buying that this whole shit was 10 years ago. Ruby Rose is still a pretty young looking actress and they portray her in the show as pretty damn young. She's gotta be like 20 years the junior of Bruce Wayne. She is not old enough to have been, unless she joined like immediately after high school, there is no fucking way in hell you're gonna convince me that she was in a time where show don't tell was still a thing. Ask don't tell, fuck. Whatever that thing is, that anti-gay thing that the military had. But yeah, that's the whole reason that she and Sophie had a falling out, because Sophie's like, no, I want to do this stuff because, and she says this in episode 7 when this is one of the big things, you know, like I said, have a big problem with Kate. It's where she's like, yeah, I'm gonna bash you, Sophie, for not staying with me and rubbing up on my clan. I'm gonna bash you for not being selfish, for taking a hit, and for providing for your family. Even though you were put in a situation that was not comfortable, you still got yourself money, you still got yourself a good job, you're second in command of this major security force that's protecting a major city. No, because you weren't taking a stand against the hateful anti-gay military, then you just suck. It's like, wow, Kate, you're such a cunt. But I'm getting a little bit too far ahead of myself. But anyway, so Kate comes back after this call. Kate has a discussion with her dad about this, and it's not good because they kind of portray the dad as either dim-witted or, I would say, they portray him with a little bit of malice, acting like, because he keeps acting like the dad didn't do anything to help Kate to cope with the loss of Beth and their mother. And it's like, what? He's your fucking father. And episode 2, all you gotta do is watch episode 2 to see that whole thing with Kate and her dad is bullshit. Right? And it's a weird thing too, because like after she finds the Batmantle later on, you know, she ends up not blaming her dad, but then she also blames her dad a lot still. And it's this long-running subplot that is just so stupid. And they keep bringing it up at the worst of times, keep retconning it to make it seem like it's always been the dad's fault. Even though it's not, as we will find out later. So, yeah. So, we start that stupid conflict. Then Kate goes to Wayne Tower to try to see some stuff with Bruce's tower. Yeah, try to see if there was stuff around for Bruce, or trying to find some stuff that Bruce had to try to help her find Sophie. Ends up getting caught by Luke, and it's like, and then she does this bullshit. She freaking pulls out of her handcuffs and handcuffs Luke to a chair while she while she breaks her way into Bruce Wayne's computers. She assaulted him. Even like, he's a security. He's supposed to be there. He's supposed to be protecting this stuff. He doesn't care if you're family. You're still in an area that you don't need to be in. You're not the one who fucking owns the place, lady. And they also have this party that she's at, and we also set up some stuff with Kate and with Catherine and with the stepsister, and the stepsister's trying to really get close to Kate, and Kate doesn't want to get close to her because it's not that she doesn't like her, it's just this is one of the things I am actually going to give a thumbs up for with the writers for, is like she doesn't know how to really interact with her stepsister. And I can understand that, considering that the dad and Catherine, they did become close and married pretty quickly after what happened with the car crash. So I can understand why Kate would feel a little bit apathetic there. It's just, don't take it out on the stepsister. But stepsister's trying to get close to her. Kate's like, nah, that's not it, Chief. But Kate ends up trying to help the Crows to find Sophie. But then she storms off on her own after seeing some stuff on a security camera. On her own. And then single-handedly fights off like 6 or 7 grown dudes in this stupid building where she's supposed to be trying to find Alice and Sophie at. Gets the shit kicked out of her, but not before beating the shit out of everybody else. Not wearing a bat suit, not wearing or having anything to really help her. She didn't even bring a gun with her. Like, she shoots a gun a couple times, but that's because that was another person's gun. And I'm just sitting here like, wait, what? How are you able to beat, like, these grown adult men? Like, I'm not buying that bullshit of, well, but size doesn't mean everything. No, when you look like a twig, size does mean a lot. Not only that, I mean, there are dudes who are skinny motherfuckers. Not like me skinny, because me skinny, like, I am really skinny. I'm not showing you, but I am very, very skinny. Just take my word for it. But there are people who are a little bit skinny and can still beat muscled up women in arm wrestling. So, yes, I think size means a lot. Now, you could do something clever with it, where she's, like, doing attacks that are ranged attacks, so she's throwing shit at people. Like, she's doing stuff that smart people would do, who are, like, you know, not at a physical advantage to try to beat these guys up. But no, she's just going up full-on fist fights. Freaking Atomic Blonding it. Yeah, they freaking tried to rip off Atomic Blonde. I'm not kidding you. Alright, and that movie is just like, that whole thing was about, oh, it's a female action hero who does basically everything that a man does, because that's basically what that movie is. So, yeah, that was weird. And, yeah, that's pretty brutal. So after she gets knocked out, she has a conversation with Alice. Alice tries to turn her against her dad. That doesn't work. She knocks her out. Alice wakes up. Well, Kate wakes up. After getting hit on the head twice, one of them with a fucking wooden baseball bat that very easily could have killed her. She doesn't have a bruise on her head. There's no swelling indicating that she was hit. All she had was a scratch from an earlier hit from something. Anybody want to say Mary Sue? Because she isn't Mary Sue. Fuck her. So yeah. Yeah, she got herself out of that situation pretty quickly. She could have easily still been in danger, and we could have had an interesting conflict for the episode, but no. No, we want to do stupid shit. So Kate wakes up, and after getting her stuff done by the stepsister, who's actually also a part-time doctor on her own, not a practice technician, she goes to confront the dad, and they have a freaking back and forth argument. And then Kate's like, I never cared for you, even though Jacob's like, I was giving you a second chance, and all that shit. It's like, but you were wanting to get rid of me. It's like, once again, the stupid bullshit that she has this irrational thought that Jacob was trying to get rid of her. And it goes back into the thing where Alice is trying to turn her against Jacob. She's saying, Sophie was the daughter you always wanted. But then Kate loses whatever little bit of patience she had left, which was basically none at this point. Goes back to Wayne Tower, beats up Luke to try to see where the hell Bruce is. And then, as she's looking around at Bruce's shit, sees the pearl necklace that her aunt, Martha Wayne, wore on the night she died, messes with some levers, and with Luke just standing there doing nothing, but saying, wait, you shouldn't do that, bullshits her way into the Batcave, where she figures out, oh, Bruce Wayne was Batman the whole time. Yes, she actually freaking does this. And it's so bad. This is the first episode. Why would you do this in the first episode? It's so rushed. It's so contrived. Relies too much on convenience. Why would you set it up this way? Why would you do this? Oh, God. This show's gonna drive me to drinking one day. I mean it, it's gonna drive me to drinking. So then, after all that, Luke explains about the day that the car crash happened and how Bruce actually tried to do everything he could to save you and thought that the wiring would hold, but didn't account for a crappy trunk on the car that ended up making one of the things snap and letting the car fall off the bridge. Yeah, so Bruce Wayne outsmarted by a really shitty trunk on a crappy car. Even though Bruce Wayne and Batman obviously would not just do that. He would do everything he could to get them out of the car. And if that thing did snap, he would still be there trying to ferry at least one of them out of the car. And honestly, seeing the wreck in the show, it looks to me like the mother died on impact, because of the way that the car just stops and then the airbag deploys. Either she would knock the fuck out or she was dead on arrival. And if she wasn't dead then, she was dead when that same thing fell off the bridge. Oh, also another thing, they barely talk about the mom for the rest of the damn series so far. I'm not joking you. I don't even know her fucking name. They barely talk about the mother. And that is low down dirty shame. You know, character development? What's that? That's about politics. And yes, I said politics, unironically. So, Kate, finally realizing what Batman, at least the method Batman used to try to keep the Gotham in line, like the criminals in line through fear, decides, yeah, I'm going to do that too, but that's not why he did it. So Kate has a fundamental misunderstanding of what the Batman is from the very get-go. Because, of course she is. She's the fucking New 52 Kate Kane. That's what they're adapting. It sucks. Yay. So she gets on the bat suit and she looks like a goddamn alien mixed with handsome Squidward in that suit. She does not look good at all. And not only that, she says this stupid ass line that was in the trailers. Luke's like, oh, this suit's literal perfection. And then she's like, it will be when it fits a whammon. Yeah! Like, that's supposed to be this girl power, yes, you go girl moment. And it's like, why would you say that? It's so stupid. Like, if I found out that a family member of mine who was super wealthy was this female superhero with a pretty badass suit of armor, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna need to fight some shit, I'm gonna take that and build it to my body structure. It's like, but this suit's no perfection. We're like, ooh, will be if it fits a man. Yeah! No, that would be so stupid, and people would rightfully be calling it out as really bad writing. Because I would be, because it sounds really stupid, really fucking stupid. But anyway, Kate finds Alice in this hastily constructed building, or at least building that's still under construction, messing with the hostages. When it's revealed that this crow's, one of the big shots of the crows, actually is an inside source for the Wonderland gang, but then he shows himself in front of the hostages, so it's like, oh wait, they know, so why would you show that to them now? That's really stupid. You know, it could have been an interesting conflict, like you see him, and then and it's like in the Air Force One, like you reveal that he's a part of the bad guys early on, but you see how he reacts to situations throughout the movie, and you just wait for him to strike. You know, that could have added an air of tension. They don't do that. His name's Dobson, and he doesn't do much. Like, he kisses Alice, gets called a traitor, and then runs away before Batwoman even gets there. But anyway, Batwoman gets there. She and Alice have a fight. Sophie gets thrown off a ledge, but then they land on something really soft that comes out of nowhere on the bottom of the ground, and they're safe. And then Batwoman goes up to get a knife that Alice threw at her, and then flies away, but not before a little kid looks at her as the Neil Breen shot intensifies, and you see the beautiful PNG that is the Batglide on Batwoman's suit. And oh, it looks so terrible. It looks so bad. Oh no. And it looks even worse on a phone that can only play it on 480p because CW can't be bothered to get 1080p on a digital platform. So we go on, and the episode ends with Kate looking at the knife, and then see a picture on a pendant that's carved into the knife with Kate and Beth and their younger selves in the picture, and Kate deduces that this is her long-lost sister Beth, who is Alice, leader of the Wonderland gang, a killer, and, she's a killer and she's trying to kill more people and threaten her dad, threaten her ex-girlfriend. Is threatening all of Gotham at this point. She's the super villain of the season. At least I'm hoping it's for the season, because fuck me, I don't want her to be anywhere else. Like the character, I don't want the character in anything else. I don't even know if this is a fucking actual story that was used in the comics. I know Sophie wasn't in the fucking comics, because Kate Kane, in their lesbian version, like the first one they did before the New 52, she had a girlfriend that she was going to get married to, but then the DC people were like, no, fuck that. Yeah, her name's Maggie. They even reference her in freaking Arkham Knight. I know, because I recently just played through a part where you can actually see that she is referenced by Kate Kane herself. I'm not joking. They literally cucked a character for not being the right skin color, because Sophie's black. Maggie's a white woman with blonde hair. Shows where the CW's priorities lie. They don't just want white female lesbians banging each other. They want black female on white female lesbians banging each other with those huge strap-ons in the sky. But anyway, that's Batwoman, the pilot. Fuck this show. Everything wrong with it can be attributed to three main factors. 1, a character assassination of Bruce Wayne. 2, a character assassination of Kane. And 3, the absolute degradation of Gotham and everything in it. This is not Gotham City. The Gotham City I know had crime on every corner. It had cops trying to work to make everything worth a damn in the city. It was filled with everything in every nook and cranny. There was always a different mystery, always another murder, always another crime, always another criminal. There's so many things in Gotham that you can do. That's what helps make the city so interesting in layers, because you have this beautiful high-rise architecture, but then you look at the ground and you have all of this shit going down. And once again, Bruce Wayne's character, it got fucked. It got butt fucked in this episode, and it continues to get butt fucked in this whole series. They treat Batman like he is nothing. They treat him like, despite all of the good that he had done to try to help Gotham City, that he was basically nothing. Either he was a fairy tale, or him doing stuff and then doing nothing was worse than doing nothing. They act like him just leaving was this outright bad thing, when they don't even know the context, 1, for why he left, and 2, he had been in Gotham at this point for 30 fucking years. 30-something fucking years, or at the very least over 25. And like, well, he could have been gotten old. You can't do this shit forever if he's a normal fucking human being. Then you got people like that fucking cop at the beginning of the episode. It's like, my son used to watch this thing all the time from his window. Now I gotta be the one to guard it. Bitching like the Batman's this bad guy just for leaving. I mean, come on. That's stupid. And oh fuck, Kate Kane. Her whole thing was supposed to be for duty and honor and to remember the dead. That was her whole reasoning for becoming the Batman. Or for becoming Batwoman. Hell, her dad in the comics actually sent her to training school just so that way she could be more prepared to help people. But no, they don't do that. They have to put that freaking gay shit on display to plaster it up in front. Granted, it's not as bad in the early part of the season as the later part of the season, but still, the whole conflict with her and Sophie is because of that stupid gay shit. You didn't have to have them in a relationship. Okay, what could have actually made it work with Sophie is that she's a close friend. Or you could have had Kate's dad and Sophie get kidnapped, and Kate has to come in and help him. Because 1, she has a personal attachment to it, but 2, she's saving more than just one person. She's saving people that she knows and cares about. And Sophie does not have to be a freaking love interest. She just says, look, you're a good friend of mine. I'm going to help you. All right, because helping out someone who you know is not a bad thing. But with Kate, she is still in love with Sophie. She is so infatuated with Sophie that she literally cannot go freaking 2 feet away from her without smelling that puss. Like, she is obsessed with her. That is actually selfish for her to do that. Like, she could have been trying to help everybody else with everything, but no. If anything had the remotest hint of Sophie, she went there. Not with anything else. Not with the other captured Green Berets and Navy SEALs. So, and then, not only that, beating up the minority, beating up Luke twice, and then somehow getting him to cooperate with her to become the next symbol of hope in Gotham City. Ugh. And then the bad acting all around, even from Dougray Scott, and It's just a bad batch. It's a bad batch. Batwoman, you fucked up so horrifically. Here's the bad thing too. One of the guys who helped create Batwoman was involved with this. Jeff Johns was involved with this series. Granted, he may not have that much creative control, but he was still consulted. But if you want someone who you can truly blame for the absolute disaster that this show has been so far, you have two people you can really blame up front. Greg Berlanti and Carolyn Dries. Or Dries, whatever the fuck her name is. You can blame those two. Definitely blame those two. But don't blame Ebony Gilbert. Press F for Ebony. Press F for Ebony Gilbert. This is the only good takeaway from this that I've gotten. Is Ebony Gilbert. That poor, poor soul. I'm so sorry, Ebony. You will be avenged one day. Oh, and he also is writing one of the, he wrote 2 of the most recent episodes that are going to air within the next couple weeks, so. Oh, this is going to be rough. Oh man, this is bad. This is really bad. This is really bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everyone who's not the writers, not the lead writer and the producers. Even Ruby Rose to an extent, because even though John Wick 2, she wasn't in a speaking role, she actually had some distinguishing characteristics from the fact that she was a mute, and her facial acting is actually really good in that movie. And she pulled off the action bit pretty well, considering, even if that movie wasn't necessarily great. But no, after all that bullshit she went through with the crazy LGBT Twitterites trying to crucify her on a cross for being bisexual, she had to do this. This had to be what was dealt her hand. And I really hope she doesn't actually like what she's doing in Batwoman. I really hope not. Because she seems like if she was just given that right direction, she could be a really good actress one day. But this shit is gonna hamper her considerably. Unless you have like a Stanley Kubrick-like director who can really command the scene, I'm not sure that you can really help Ruby Rose at this stage of her career, and that's unfortunate. Well, that was depressing. Go get a drink.